Hi everyone! Today you're going to see a lot of my bare skin for quite a while, because what I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to start a series on my channel which is going to be an all about series. Now what this means is these are going to be 100% informative, tricks of the trade, factual information that I have learnt about makeup in all of the time that I've done it. So these videos may not be for everyone. They're not going to be look videos, they're not going to be full tutorials, and it may only be applicable to those people that are either really interested in upping their makeup game, like they want it to be their A game, or makeup artists. They're kind of the people that I'm gearing these things towards. Also for those people that are doing their makeup and they're doing everything that they're being told, they're putting in the time and the practice work, but they just cannot figure out why exactly their makeup's not looking the same as those people on Instagram or those makeup artists that they follow on social media. I'm going to get into it as quick as I can because I don't want to ramble too much, because this is going to be an extremely talky video. But down in the description box I'm going to leave timestamps for the different areas I'm going to be talking about today. So if there's one particular area you want to focus on, then you can skip right ahead to that. So today's video is going to be all about the base, all about that base. And I'm going to split this video up into 4 different sections. Section 1 is going to be skin prep. Section 2 is going to be colour correction. Section 3 is going to be all about foundation and different foundation types for your skin. And section 4 is going to be the tools and the brushes that you can use. At the very end of this video, I'm also going to show you what I do and how I apply my foundation and the preferences that I have when it comes to foundation application. So if you want to see that as well, they will all be timestamped down below. But let's get into the video. So, skin prep. It's a big topic. And what I mean by skin prep is your skincare. Everything that you're doing before you're applying the makeup to your skin. Now, I'm going to promote throughout my entire life that you should have a specific skincare routine for you. And the only person that can help you with your skincare routine who is trained and paid to do so is a dermatologist or your GP. And even then, you might have to try different things because there's skin types and then there's you. But at least for me, these are the areas I find to be most important and most crucial. Now, one thing that I find a lot of people either skip or do too much in their skincare routine is exfoliate. I know a lot of people who don't exfoliate ever, or they over exfoliate the skin. Now, not exfoliating your skin at all is going to leave flaky, dry skin on the surface of the skin. What this means for makeup application is that your face isn't going to sit completely smoothly, so that when you apply your foundations, apply your concealers, and especially your powders, there's going to be underlying texture that you can't necessarily see when the makeup isn't on, but is highlighted when you apply the makeup. However, exfoliating the skin too much or too vigorously is going to cause tiny little microdermabrasions to the surface of the skin where you've been too rough with it.
Oh hi, it's Editing Emily here. Just a quick one. I just realised I said microdermabrasions, which is I think it's a skin procedure. What I meant was micro tears in your skin, so tiny little microscopic cuts on your skin. As you were, Emily, carry on.
So there is a little sweet spot I found for me personally. I have a normal skin type, but I will exfoliate my skin 3 times a week with a gentle exfoliator. So for me, the scrub that I love to use, at the moment at least, is the L'Oreal Smooth Sugars Nourish Scrub. So the reason I like this scrub in particular at the moment is because when I read up about it online, it said a lot about it being formulated with naturally derived sugars, so brown, blonde and white. Why can't I think of white sugar? That's like the normal food sugar. So the other reason I love this scrub is because it has a lot of coconut oil in it, and coconut oil is renowned for improving the condition of your skin, reducing redness and reducing inflammation, so it just kind of calms your skin down. So I'm loving this one at the minute. So I think I might have said this in my first video, but the skincare that I believe everyone needs at the very bare minimum is a moisturiser and a lip balm. They're just the bare minimum. The Clinique Even Better Brighter is the one I'm using at the moment. It's just really nice. It's fragrance free, so it's not going to potentially cause any irritation on my skin. Now, a common complaint that people say about moisturiser is, oh, my skin's oily anyway, I'm not going to put more oils on it. But that is a misconception. Oil production is kind of a natural reaction that your skin has when it feels like it's too dry. Of course, some people do have naturally oily skin, but there's plenty of skincare that you can look into that will gear itself towards that. But just because your skin is oily does not mean you should neglect moisturizer, because all that's going to do is make your skin feel dehydrated and produce more oils to compensate for the dryness that it actually feels. And of course, vice versa, if you have really dry skin, then you need to be compensating with a really oil rich moisturizer. However, one thing I have been using recently, now I'm not a skin professional, so I don't know if this is a reputable replacement for moisturizer, but it's something I have been loving, and I know that it's really good for sensitive skin. And that is this little beauty. It's the L'Oreal Hydrogenious Aloe Water, but anything that's aloe water or a water-based moisturizer is brilliant for sensitive skin because it really strips back all the ingredients. Moisturizers get a bit fancy and they put all of these crazy ingredients and chemicals into them, and it's counterproductive because you want the most natural ingredients you can get. And this, you will feel it. As soon as you put it on your skin, you'll be like, oh, this is good for my skin. I don't know if these are necessarily a replacement, but they're definitely worth getting in your skincare routine. It's like a 10 from Superdrug, so it's such a good purchase. Recommend. So in a nutshell, the most important thing to know with skincare or skin prep is you have to first know your skin type, and then you have to find products that are complementary for that skin type. So that's kind of the base on skincare. Now, part 2 is colour correction. Now this is loaded. And I've got to take you back into GCSE art now. Basically, the theory of colour correction comes from the colour wheel. You'll probably remember. Here it is if you don't. So the colour wheel is made up of warm and cool colours. Your warm colours are your yellows, your oranges, your reds, and then your cool tones are made up of your earthy tones, so your greens, your blues, and your purples. Now, do you remember in art where your teacher would say the opposite colours on the colour wheel are complementary to one another? Well, the closer in that you get on the colour wheel, the more the colour begins to neutralise. So what that means is if you have a really vibrant blue, 100% blue, and you mix that with 100% orange, they would neutralise each other out in the middle. And that is a theory that we use on the skin. So put into practice, around your eyes, you will probably find you've got a lot of blue tones because you've got veins and the skin is thinner around the eyes, so the veins are more seeable than on your cheeks where you've got a lot of chunky monkiness like me. Then if we go to the cheek, there's usually areas of redness. So obviously it may be old scars, or it may be pigmentation in the skin, or it may just be blood flow to your cheeks. Some people just have red cheeks. Now for men who wear makeup or drag artists, they have beards. So even when you shave, they have that 5 o'clock shadow, which is kind of a bluey black colour. So all of that in mind, we can use the theory of colour correction to neutralise any colour that we find in the skin. Now a foundation, if we were to take this apart and put it back into the components it was made out of, it would be made out of whites, blues, oranges, yellows and reds. So it is difficult because you have to think when you're finding a foundation about the undertones, because you need to colour correct, and you need to think about the shade because you need it to match. Unless you're me, and then you just don't make it match and then you just blend it all over your whole body and pretend that it matches. But that is the general theory for colour correction. Problem is, if I apply a concealer shade right on top of loads of blue around my eye, I'm just making a light blue. I'm just adding white to blue. The same with redness and rosacea. If you have seriously intense red pigment on your cheeks, you can go in with a green concealer and you can use that, apply a thin layer all over the skin in the red areas, and then apply your foundation on top of it. And again, same principle. It's going to neutralize that skin out, and then you've got a blank canvas to start with. Okay, into the third part, and that is going to be foundation types. So there are tons of different foundation types, and you will probably find that most of the foundations have written on them what skin type they are made for nowadays, which they didn't used to do so much before. For example, one of my favourite Superdrug foundations, the Fit Me Matte and Poreless, they've got written right on the front that this is perfect for normal to oily skin. But in situations when there aren't, there's ways that you can tell. Now, one thing that I will say, if you look up most products online, most of them are going to try and sell you the idea that their foundation works on all skin types. In my opinion, that's just an absolute myth. That is made up, because in life there's no one size fits all solution to anything, and in foundation that is the same deal. Okay, so for example, I've just googled my MAC Studio Fix Fluid, and on the MAC website it doesn't say a specific skin type that this is made for. However, if I read the description, it says that this is an oil-free foundation. So if I have really dry skin, I'm not necessarily going to be intrigued by a foundation that has no oils in it whatsoever. Moving on, it says that it's a shine control base. Shine control is another way of saying that it's a matte finish. Again, this is not going to be good for you really dry skinned individuals. So just from reading the description, I can tell that this foundation, if I have dry skin, is a no-no, but if I'm oily to normal skinned, then this is probably going to be one that I could give a try. It doesn't mean I'm going to like the formula, it doesn't mean I'm going to like the coverage, but it will more likely work for my skin type than if I was a dry skin individual. Okay, now if I look up, for example, the Superstay from Maybelline, this one doesn't go into as much detail, and it doesn't kind of highlight as many buzzwords as maybe the Studio Fix would have done. So this one says it's a 24-hour full coverage foundation which completely corrects flaws and imperfections. It's relentless all-day wear, lightweight, high pigment and high coverage, flawless transformation foundation. Now, if I read that and I didn't know anything about makeup, I would maybe be like, well, who uses that? But the fact that it's saying it's a full coverage 24-hour foundation says that it has to be at least a little bit mattifying on the skin. If it said serum, if it said lightweight and soft, then that probably means that it's got some oils in it. However, the fact that it's saying it's 24 hours, this is supposed to stay on my face for 24 hours a day, when I could sweat, when I could produce oils, where I could touch my face, this has to be a mattifying foundation. So for this foundation, again, I'd say we're looking around the kind of oily, normal, or just slightly on the drier side, just that much onto the drier side, because it says it's a soft matte. Now, if I go in and look at the ordinary serum foundation, straight away it's a serum. This is good for matte skins because it's a serum, it's got oils in it. But it says this lusciously lightweight serum glides on smooth, subtly and perfectly finished and lasts all day without settling into your fine lines. So again, it's a serum, it's lightweight, it's less coverage because it's got more oils, so this would be perfect for the drier skin types. So that is kind of the different kinds of foundation types. There's loads of other areas you could kind of deep dive into, like demi mattes, semi mattes. They all kind of mean the same thing. But if you can kind of learn to start looking out for those particular buzzwords, those kind of descriptive words that kind of link to a specific type of foundation or a specific skin type, then you can really start working that into your routine and figuring out before you buy things whether this is geared towards your skin or whether it's just something you want to try. It might not be geared towards your skin, but you might want to try it, and that's completely fine as well. And then last but not least, the fourth category is tools. So I've kind of split the tools section into 4 different tool types. So I'm gonna go from the fullest coverage tool to the least coverage tool. So the highest coverage tool that you can use that will give you the absolute maximum coverage out of your foundation is a flat brush. This one's just one from BH Cosmetics. It's an angled one, but they come in loads of shapes. Sometimes they're a little bit curved, sometimes they're square and flat. These I use no matter what tool I'm going in with, and I'll flatten the skin down with this brush before I go in and either buff out or pat out with my blender. Whatever I decide to do that day, I always start out with my flat foundation brush first. So instead of using the flat brush to apply my whole face, I'll utilize it for what it's amazing at, which is giving you the most coverage and laying your skin down completely flat. And then I'll go in and use a second tool for the speed and the application process. The next one is a buffing brush. This is IT Cosmetics Love is the Foundation brush, and it's bloody lovely. So this is kind of a slightly denser but still soft brush, and it's got a lot more hairs on it than the flat brush has. It's also got a lot more surface area, so that when I'm applying the foundation, I'm going to cover more space than with a flat brush. Now, I personally like to use these in a patting motion as opposed to a circular motion. Again, I'm always encouraging you to go with the direction of your natural hair growth on your face. It's going to give you a natural full coverage, so maybe a medium full you could receive with a buffing brush, and these come in every different shape you can imagine. We've got these round buffing brushes, or we've got little flat buffing brushes, which are also really nice. They come in many different shapes and sizes, but I would say this is one of the most versatile tools that I think probably works for most all skin types, because you can achieve a really natural finish with this, but you can also achieve a high medium coverage to a full coverage. If you build up, you can get a full coverage with this. And then we have everyone's favorite, the Beauty Blender sponge. Now, a lot of people think that these sponges give you a high coverage, but it's actually the opposite of the case. These are going to give you a medium to light coverage, because what these sponges do naturally is soak up whatever product goes into them. So you're probably actually applying maybe 50-40% of the product that you've actually put on the sponge onto your face. That's not to say that you can't make an absolutely flawless finish with them, because amen, yes you can, but that's the reason it looks flawless is because it distributes the product really evenly across the skin, whereas with a flat brush you can get a little bit of patchiness. But these are kind of the experts in medium to light coverage. And then we have our duo fibre brushes. Now, these are the most flimsy of the makeup brushes that we've seen. Their bristles are a lot longer, and they are usually white on the top and then black on the bottom, because they're different types of hairs. And the reason that this gives you the absolute lightest coverage out of all of them is because the makeup will sit on these little white hairs on top, and then it will buff out with these black hairs at the bottom. So it really stipples the makeup on in a beautiful thin layer. Really good for oily foundations, as in oil-based serum foundations. Really, really good for BB creams. They're really soft and gentle on the skin, so unlike a flat foundation brush or a buffing brush where it might start picking up some of those drier flakes, this one doesn't do that because of how soft and gentle these bristles are. It really applies them really, really lightly, and they are fantastic for like face and body from MAC. These are the experts in face and body. So that is sort of your 4 simplified tools. That's kind of the 4 areas I would say each foundation tool kind of falls into. So your flat foundation brush for your full coverage, your medium full with your buffing brush, your medium to light with your beauty sponge, and then your light coverage with your dual fibre stippling brush. And by Jove, I think we've done it. Now, as a part of the video where I'm going to show you how I apply my foundation, I'm not going to include my concealers with this because that's going to be in a separate all about video. So I've already actually applied my aloe water today, but I'm going to go and put some more on because I like it. It feels amazing on the skin. Like the second you feel this on your skin, you just know this is good for it. Okay, so for a little bit of colour correction around the blue under my eye, I'm going to go in with my Bobbi Brown concealer palette, and I'm going to use the shade Dark Peach, which is in the middle here. So do you see how it pulls quite orange? And that is going to go really gently around the under eye area. I'm literally just going to swipe it over only the areas that are blue, and then just take my finger or a sponge, whatever's easier for you, and just pat that out gently so that there's not loads of excess all over the skin. Okay, so now I'm going to take my flat foundation brush and my Fit Me foundation, which I've been loving at the minute, from Maybelline, and pull the foundation down in the direction that the hair grows in. Then once I've got that laid down, I'm taking my buffing brush and very gently patting over the entire thing using a light pressure just to buff in any brush strokes and to lift any excess product. And I'm literally just going to repeat this process on every part of my face. So on my cheek, and then on my forehead, my nose and my chin. So that is my foundation on, ready for my concealers, my bronzers, my powders, and anything else I decide to use on the skin. This is like your flawless blank canvas base. You're ready to take on the world with your new flawless face. So yes, that was absolutely everything for today's video, the all about the base episode. I'm gonna add this to a playlist called the All About series, and I'm gonna intermittently start introducing these videos into my channel. I know they're not gonna be for everyone, I 100% know that, and I know some people just wanna see funny, fun tutorials, and that's absolutely fine, but I pretty much set this whole channel up just because I get so many questions all the time about the techniques of makeup and like the behind the scenes stuff of makeup, like why we do the things that we do and what the theories are behind it, that I think it's important alongside those videos to be able to have some sort of framework that you can say, if someone says, oh well, why are you doing that with your foundation in a tutorial, I can say, well, head over to that video and it explains everything in detail. So I hope that this helped for anyone who was wondering about the foundation routine. If you are interested or you did like this video, please drop me a like down below, it really helps me out. And if you want to see more of these videos or any tutorials yet to come, then please do feel free to subscribe to my channel for maybe more light-hearted, less talky at you videos as well. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope this helped, and I'll speak with you soon. Bye.